The biggest trends I see in federal mobility right now are fragmentation, proliferation, and frankly confusion. There's a lot of choice out there as to what technology people can be given to work through, and it's not easy making those choices. Who gets what? I was looking around the conference here today. There's a lot of diversity in the technology that people have brought with them. It's as diverse as the people themselves. So how do you match the right technology to the right requirement? As yet, I think there's a lack of a framework to make those decisions. And I think we see here today a lot of people trying to struggle with that framework and trying to make those decisions. Of course, into that mixes a secondary trend, which I think is very important, which is the question of ownership. Do you own it? Do you need to own it? What if the individual owns it? If the individual owns it, how should you allow them to access assets, resources, applications, information? So I think that's a secondary trend, but I think it's actually part of the bigger question of who gets what and how. For us at VMware, I think the biggest challenge we see with all the mobility trend at the moment is that the management processes that are being applied to the technology that's getting deployed are not management processes that are really adapted to the reality of mobile technology. In most cases, they're the management processes we know and that we've established over 15, 20 years for the desktop. They're static, they assume static technology, known configurations, and things that don't move. And what that means when you move them into the world of the mobile technology, particularly mobile devices, is that they don't scale. They very quickly drive a lot of overhead, a lot of cost, and actually they create a barrier to change. So I think that's the biggest challenge that we see right now. And of course, our approach really would be to not manage the assets directly themselves. It is non-scalable. If you look at the bring your own device trend, you cannot assume that you have the right to wipe a device, to do something to the personal data that might also be residing there. You cannot even assume that you know the device, because whatever your policy, if it was established last week, there may be a new device this week. And so the only thing you really can assume is that you can't trust the device. And in that case, you have to find a way of working with a trusted part of it and not all of it. So really the approach that we take is to withdraw from managing the assets themselves, and we suggest that you manage instead the access between the asset and the services that the user is accessing. And by doing that, you can have not only a scalable approach, but also something that allows you to manage at the activity level, which is better for audit. And frankly, in the context of a federal audience, it's better for being able to have graduated information security around the levels of security required for different documents and different pieces of data. Our advice to government, to federal agencies in general about mobility is don't chase the puck. Right? We don't have ice hockey in my country, but I do know that that's the one rule of winning the game. Don't chase the puck. There's a new reality. What we've done previously doesn't scale in the new environment. Find ways to deal with change in technology and build change into all the assumptions you make of management so that you can actually deal with the change that happens in advance of it happening.